Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to What's Up With That, the show that brings you interesting people, places, cultures, and subcultures here in the South Bay, the San Francisco Bay Area, the state of California, and beyond. And tonight, what's up with women in blogging? What's up with Blog Her? And what is a blog? Well, as you know, we are rapidly evolving into a technological era. People are communicating in so many different ways. Not letter writing so much, not calling on the phone so much, but mainly on the computer. And part of communicating on the computer is a blog. But what is a blog? Do you know what a blog is? I don't really know what a blog is, but tonight we're going to find out exactly what a blog is from an expert blogger. Please welcome Elisa Camahort-Page. She is a co-founder of Blog Her. What's that?
What's up?
So, what is a blog?
Well, a blog is really just a kind of website. People often ask, well, what's the difference between a blog and a website? A blog is a website. But there are some things that blogs generally do that are different from your traditional website. And one is that they're interactive. Mm-hmm. So there is a blogger who sort of dictates what they're going to write about, what they're going to say, and what the stories and posts are. Mm-hmm. But then there are comments where people can talk back and tell their stories and ask questions. So there's a sense of back and forth. Mm-hmm. The second thing that's different is they're generally in reverse chronological order. So as opposed to having a navigation that has, well, here's this section on these topics, and here's this section. And you can certainly do that with a blog. You can have categories, you can have archives, but the homepage is just basically going to be the most recent post, followed by the next most recent, followed by the next most recent, and you can just read a whole timeline of this blogger's life. And the third thing that's pretty different about a blog versus, say, a company website, is the tone is informal. If you've been reading my blogs and now you watch this and you hear me talk, you should say, oh yeah, that's exactly what she sounds like in her blog, and vice versa. If someone were to go read my blog after seeing this, they should say, oh yeah, that's exactly what she was like on the show. Okay. So it's a very human tone, which, when people complain about technology and, we're not communicating anymore, I think blogs have an extremely direct and human tone.
Right. Well, that's really important because you're actually absolutely right. That's what people communicate. Complain about the most. Right. It's a communication thing that we're creating a whole group of...
That we're alone in front of our screens.
Yes, we're creating people who don't even know each other and they're talking and become best friends, but they've never seen each other, have no idea, not a clue.
Right, and so what? Because, the whole thing, we've never seen each other in person, so what? If we are authentically sharing all the things that friends share. Yeah. First of all, a lot of bloggers do go meet each other in person, and that's, at Blog Her, we have live events, and it's hugely important to people to go meet their favorite people online. But even if you didn't, I'm not sure I'm seeing the downside of that.
Yeah, so you get favorite people online. There's
you make friends.
So you can tell. I've seen some blogs and they go by different names, whatever. Do you start imagining in your mind what these people might be like? Can you figure it out?
Well, I think there's something to the fact that people talk about how bloggers share too much information and they're just...
that's the best.
And that they're just... actually, most bloggers would tell you, hey, you think you know 100% about me, but you really only know 20 or 30% about me. There's a whole lot of things I don't share online. But that's actually true in real life, too. So your real life friends don't share 100% of everything they think or say or do or believe in, because if they did, we would all get pretty tedious, So I'm not sure it's that different.
Yeah, so are there different kinds of blogs? What different kinds of blogs are there?
Well, people blog about everything under the sun. There are extremely professional blogs that are talking about business and are really being used as a professional platform for thought leadership. Okay. There are very highly political blogs that are all about advocacy. There are journalism blogs where they're really reporting. There are personal blogs that really are nothing more than a diary of what's going on. And then people blog about, knitting and crafting and food and eco-conscious and health. They really blog about everything under the sun.
Yeah, and so including some pretty probably crazy blogs, some...
Well, I think there are, it is true. It's very democratic with a small d. There are blog platforms that are, in fact, free of charge to use. So if you have an internet connection, even at your local library, you can go start a blog. So yeah, I mean, there are millions and millions of blogs, and I'm not saying every one of those millions and millions of blogs are worth you and me going to read.
But they're worth to somebody.
And you know, they're not intended for you and me to read. Many blogs are really just intended for a person's family and friends, and it's a great way to efficiently keep in touch with people.
So it's more like of a tight-knit community kind of thing.
You do end up joining sort of tribes online, tribes of people, and you may be in multiple tribes because you have multiple interests as a person.
All right, I see. Okay, well, that's cool. So what makes a good blog?
Well, I think the number one thing that makes a good blog is that it is very individual. It is your voice. It is your tone. It's not like everybody else's, if nothing else, because of the force of whatever your personality is. And people want to, you know, they go to blogs for that kind of authentic connection. There are a couple of different ways to make a good blog. One good way is just to be a really great resource. That if you're going to cover, say, you know, eco-conscious living, that you are out there following the news and you are providing links and you are pointing people to other great resources, and you're really someplace to go where people can satisfy their itch to learn about that. So that's like a resource blog. Another great kind of blog is a storytelling blog, and it can be funny stories or it can be more poignant stories, but, you know, it's as good as reading a book. You know, it's as good as...
Well, it's real.
It's real, and that's why, you know, they're showing that women in particular are spending less and less time in other media channels, magazines, newspapers, TV, and that's because they're finding entertainment and information online. Both.
That probably pertains a lot more to their particular needs.
That they feel like is coming from, you know, quote unquote, people like me, and therefore is authentic to them and relatable and trustworthy.
Okay, so I go to a blog site, right, and I'm reading something. How will I know what to blog? I mean, what's like the...
If you want to start your own?
Yeah, let's say, okay, let's take that angle. Okay, I want to start my own.
So, I mean, most people, a lot of people don't start with a big plan of what they want to blog about. They just start a blog and then see what strikes them. I certainly didn't start with a big plan. If you want to use the blog for a specific purpose, it's helpful to have a plan. If you just want to start a blog to play around with it, play around with it. Who cares? Have fun. But if you have a purpose, one good thing to do is start reading blogs and getting a sense of what you like to read, because that'll give you a sense of what you would like to create. Also think about your topic. So it's got to be something you're passionate enough about to blog about. You know, think about it as forever. So it's all. I do know someone who, like, to make money, started a blog about Britney Spears, when she has no interest in Britney Spears, but she was just going to be the Britney Spears resource blog. You know, how long can you really do that and feel interested to get up in the morning and, like...
Well, you gotta like Britney, okay? I mean,
and if you don't,
a womanizer.
And if you don't, it's probably not the blog for you. What is it that you could get up every day and have fun talking about and reading about and participating in a larger community of bloggers talking about that same thing? So you better have to have some passion for the subject.
Right. I would think so. Okay, we're going to take a short station commercial break, and we'll be right back to talk about blogging.
Ancient Indians believed that forests were the mother of all rivers. Out of sheer greed, in 30 years, we have destroyed half our forests. We are poisoning our rivers, polluting our air, and our natural heritage is vanishing before our eyes. Let us pledge to protect our environment and natural habitats. Reduce, reuse, and recycle.
Σήμερα θα ήθελα να μιλήσω για την σύγχρονη βιντεοκάμερα, που είναι ένα θαύμα υψηλής τεχνολογίας, η οποία επιτρέπει...
Is shooting good video all Greek to you? How would you like to learn about all the latest video cameras? We have just what you need. In just 3 hours, you'll be shooting your own video with state-of-the-art cameras in a workshop we made just for you. This workshop is provided by KMVT Community Television. To learn more, contact us at the phone or website on your screen.
All right, we're back here with Elisa, and we're talking about blogging, and she has her own blog site.
I have 7 blogs.
7. Why don't you describe your blogs?
Well, the first blog I started out with was my personal blog, and it's pretty random. I talk about politics there. I review restaurants, a lot of local stuff. I review restaurants and theater, but I also review books and movies. I write about Project Runway and American Idol, all my little addictions on TV.
Okay.
And it's extremely, it can go all over the place, and it's really just what's going on with me, very basic. But I have other blogs that are much more topic specific. I have one about marketing and blogging and business and social media. I have one about green and eco-conscious living. I have one about being a vegan. I have one about healthcare issues from a layman's perspective. I have one about local theater, and I contribute to a couple of group blogs, both Blog Her, my company's blog, and then also SF Bay Style, which is, again, local color, I would not say I'm a really frequent, faithful blogger in all of them. Like, I'm not posting every day in all of those blogs. But I do
I would
actually...
say that would be very time consuming.
It would be, and I have, a company and a job and, all of that. But I do keep a little spreadsheet and keep track of when I'm blogging in each one, and I try to blog in each one each week at some point.
Yeah. So why do you think people read blogs?
Well, actually, my company, Blog Her, did a research study with women, particularly, and we surveyed both the general population of women and then the Blog Her network of women. And we asked them what are their motivations for reading and writing blogs. And what was surprising the first year we did the study, it was surprising to me that the number one reason was fun and entertainment. So it's replacing watching a sitcom.
Yeah, which is good, actually. I mean,
It's replacing other modes of entertainment. But then after that, self-expression, finding people like me and building community, and then seeking advice and information and opinion and recommendations. So people use it in a pretty targeted way to, before they go buy an appliance, they might search and see, well, who else has bought a Kenmore, washer dryer or whatever. See what people say about it.
I'm going to have to investigate more, because I've been on some blogs, and a lot of the time you'll see certain, just kind of random comments and sort of kind of going off. Maybe I'm not on the right blog. Maybe I don't really understand it.
Right. Well, there's a world of blogs that are really entertaining, professional, really informational, really great pieces of writing and entertainment. There's a lot of talent out there, and that's the thing, is that women are discovering there's something that they're good at, and there's something that they love to do, and that's why the next step was, and part of what my company does is to help them make money doing that.
So you've made a distinction here. You've talked about women in blogging, and they're using it in a certain way. Is there a difference between the way men blog and women blog, and is there a different purpose that they blog?
That's a really great question. In general, I'm not sort of a gender determinist person who says that some traits are masculine and some traits are feminine.
Well, that's good, because there's a lot of people that are. And they get lost in that craziness.
When I was in the corporate world, I didn't appreciate being told I managed like a man because I was confident and could make a decision, as though those were not things women could do. I found that kind of insulting. Not
a little bit.
Not complimentary. Not complimentary. So I really don't.
Here he comes.
Yeah.
he showed up to work again.
Yeah. So really, exactly. So I'm really not into that. I do, however, think that there is a certain, women are really socialized to communicate a little bit more with one another, a little bit more openly and more about feelings and all of this kind of stuff, and it's natural that they would blog that way as well, and that's why they're able to build such strong communities that support one another through good times and bad, and who can band together and work on causes together as well. So both through positive times and not so positive times, that women are socialized to create these kind of communities together and get through these times. And I think men
I think that is actually true.
I think men are actually socialized to declaim and to declare and to use their blogs to say me, and women may be more socialized to use them to say us, we.
Right.
That is not to say there are men daddy bloggers, there are men life bloggers who talk about their personal feelings in life. There are men cooking bloggers, and there are women who are hot political bloggers and business bloggers. So,
and I think the more exposure, I mean, when you're talking about blogs, the more worldwide exposure to all these kinds of things sort of begins to bridge the gender gap.
I absolutely agree.
It's an important point of this.
I know a lot of women who use either gender neutral or even pseudonyms to sort of mask the fact that they're women if they're in political or business blogging or technology blogging sectors. And I think the proof that, in the pudding that there is still sexism out there is that I don't know any men who are pretending to be women to be taken more seriously in those areas. However, I'm a big advocate for being really open about your identity, whatever your race is, whatever your sexual orientation is, whatever your gender is, whatever your age is, because the more people see that, this 65-year-old woman over here wrote a book about CSS and other geeky things, and this person over here did this, and the more we reveal our identities, the more people will be exposed to the fact that diverse people are doing everything out there.
Exactly.
And you can't make a judgment based on what gender or race or age someone is about what they can do.
Right. I mean, and that's beautiful because, we teach it in the schools, but whether we practice what we preach is always, of course, the issue.
Right.
Because they can step out of the classroom and then the first thing that comes out of their mouth might be an epithet or something like that.
Right. I mean, it's sad if we're telling kids you can be or do anything, but when they grow up a little and get online, that the girls feel like they have to pretend they're boys to be taken seriously. That's a very sad thing.
So now blogs, okay? I've read some blogs where I've read some like really harsh stuff on them. And I mean, in talking about the language of it,
Yep.
And I think we'll talk about the etiquette of blogging when we return from this short commercial break.
What if you knew that the fastest way to make a better world is to better the lives of women and girls? You might be 1 in a million. We're asking 1 million women to join our global network and invest in women and girls. It's that easy to make a difference.
I am 1 in a million.
I am 1 in a million.
I am 1 in a million.
Be 1 in a million and fund forward. Give to a Women's and Girls Fund.
Hi, my name is Susie Moon and I work for CineQuest Film Festival. I wanted to share with you about all the great films that matter, the film and technology forums that really give you the inside scoop of all the great technology and filmmaking out there, and as well as the Maverick Spirit guests who are the highlights of our festival. We want you to come and have fun, meet new friends, and just enjoy your time. And you can check out our website for more information.
Hi, we're back here with Elisa, and we're talking about blogging, particularly women in blogging, but men in blogging as well. And reading some of the blogs that I've read some really kind of fierce stuff and almost like insulting.
Right.
Is there an etiquette that's supposed to be followed, or does? So
it depends on the site, and some sites don't seem to have a problem letting conversations get really ugly. We have community guidelines on BlogHer that sort of outlaw hate speech, outlaw epithets, outlaw any kind of unacceptable content, so that we keep a civil atmosphere, even when we're disagreeing, as in conversations about politics we often do.
You think?
Yeah. So I think the thing is that people blame the internet or blame blogging for bad behavior. And the internet and blogging are just tools. And what we are seeing is a representation of a segment of society that now has a tool to spread.
Just one more tool.
Another tool to spread their negativity. It's true the internet provides for louder voices and broader distribution of those voices. But you're not going to address it by doing something to the internet or banning something on the blogosphere. You've got to address that the hate exists in the world.
I mean, in all fairness, it's a democracy. So if we're going to have freedom of speech,
and if I don't want to see that conversation, I leave. And if I don't want to have it on my site, I ban it. And it's my blog is my little corner of the internet. I can do whatever I want.
You bring up a really important issue too. When people criticize television and they criticize all these things for creating, monsters. We're creating a monstrous society. Well, turn it off. You don't have to watch it. It's a choice.
Yeah, whenever people talk about, there's so much noise, Twitter, who cares, all that noise, you know what? Unfollow, unsubscribe.
Exactly.
You have all the choice in the world. It's there's nothing more customizable in your life than your internet experience.
But then I think there's people out there who, that's all they do, is look for something to criticize, and they're going to find it. They're going to find it. And
they're going to find it anywhere.
So you have, your BlogHer.
Yes.
And you were talking about guidelines. Tell me what your guidelines are.
Well, so when we launched BlogHer's web community, which followed, the first thing we did was have a conference by and about women bloggers back in 2005, because we were seeing a lot of conferences that weren't involving women as speakers particularly, and we wanted to show there were a lot of women experts out there. So the next thing we did was launch the web community in 2006, and we launched it with these community guidelines that were all about civil disagreement. You can be pseudonymous. You do not have to reveal your identity. But you have to behave within certain bounds. We don't allow defamation, plagiarism, copyright infringement, hate speech, epithets, et cetera, et cetera. And we will delete comments. We'll tell the person why they're getting deleted and give them a choice to learn how to attack an idea and not a person. And most people can. And then what happens is the community forms that wants that kind of environment, and then they self-police a lot, so that they're like,
I'm sure they do, that would be a...
And the people who are coming there to discuss things are finding a spot on the internet that they're not finding elsewhere, because I used to read a lot of political blogs, and I got tired of it. It was so much either you suck or you rock, and there was nothing in between, and I find we have a lot of really substantive arguments or debates on BlogHer, and then you end up finding common ground more easily. And so we did that right from the beginning with our web community. And we have editors who find all the best writing out there from women who blog and feature it on our site. So we're very much about giving the link out.
So you're opening up a whole new avenue for people to...
Our mission is to create opportunities for women who blog, for education, for exposure, for community, and then for economic empowerment, because the last thing we do is we have a publishing network where we represent over 2,500 bloggers. We sell their advertising, we syndicate their content and their headlines, and we try to shine a light on what they're doing and help them make money doing it.
Wow. Well, that's pretty cool. So for our viewers, why would it be important to keep a blog?
A blog is your personal platform on the web for whatever you love and are interested in. And if you think about, I think one thing that's really changed in Silicon Valley over the last 9-10 years through the .com boom and the bust is that people no longer expect to have a job, the same job, the rest of their lives. And even when they have a job, they've always got a little something, something on the side. They're always looking for something that can be independent of a particular job. And your blog goes with you. It's not your company's. It's not, you can form a platform for who you are and what you do. Maybe it's about a job, maybe it's about something you're doing as a hobby or avocation. But it's about you really having complete control over the message. And a lot of people are being found via their blogs. From hiring managers, by reporters looking for sources, by people looking for consultants or freelance writers. So the blog is a great promotion for yourself and your ideas and your voice.
Yeah, well, this is great. It's one more avenue that
and it's one you control.
And I think that's a big important part of it. You can weed out the hate and you can weed out the...
Absolutely. It's like your living room. I wouldn't let you come and shit in the middle of my living room.
I know.
To be literal about it. And I'm not going to let you do it on my blog either.
Yeah, and that's true. I mean, and I always have a difficulty with, people who are cussing and stuff all the time. When you go to a football game or something, you just want to tell them to shut up.
Of course, I just cuss. So.
That's all right. That's an okay cuss word.
Okay.
So, is there a particular kind of woman that blogs? I mean, is it...
I would have to say no. They come from all walks of life, all income levels across. The blogosphere is actually a little more diverse, according to the Pew Research folks, than the internet as a whole. And I think it's because voices that might feel marginalized in mainstream society are gravitating towards an opportunity to speak their own truth and raise their own voice. And so there are really, what is consistent is that they know how to get on a computer. But actually, a lot of the software platforms make it so easy now. You don't even really have to be very tech savvy. I would say they're aspirational. Most of the women who blog, they want to...
they have something to say.
They have something to say. They want to share it. And they're all about getting their word out there. And it can be about so many different things, from the personal, political, professional. But they do share that in common.
So what is the actual mission statement of BlogHer? What is it actually about?
Well, our mission is, I think I said it before, is to create opportunities for women who blog, for education, for exposure, for community, and for economic empowerment.
Okay. Yes, you did say that.
That's our mission.
Okay, so and you also talked about that you had a conference. Okay,
Right.
what happened at the conference?
Well, this year we had 1,500 people in Chicago. We
Wow.
had tracks about personal blogging, political blogging, professional blogging. We had a geek lab. We had room of your own sessions where people formed their own discussion groups and birds of a feather lunches. We had a senior advisor to President Obama, Valerie Jarrett, was there to
Wow.
talk to groups about healthcare. We had Tina Brown from the Daily Beast there as a keynoter. But most importantly, we featured our own members. One of our keynotes is the community keynote, where 20 bloggers got up and read their work that they had submitted and that we chose by committee. And you know, we laughed, we cried, we needed Kleenex on the tables. But so it's a lot about networking. It's a lot about learning. It's a lot about having fun. There are parties every night, and it's really, people say, oh, you don't know these people, but through our conferences we have an opportunity to show up and meet each other in person, and it's very powerful.
Are there classes that people can take to learn how to
so
blog?
there are sessions about all sorts of topics. Some of them are more discussion, some of them are more instructional. The Geek Lab was very much geared towards come here and learn how to do,
Just learn,
you know, learn
novice,
skills, both for beginning and advanced.
Do you have to have a lot of skills, computer skills, to run a blog?
You can start a blog with very few computer skills, but what ends up happening is that a lot of people, and women in particular, they want to learn more. I didn't know any skills when I started my first blog. I surfed the web and did my email, and that was really about it. But I wanted to teach myself HTML so I could make a better blog, and I wanted to teach myself how to...
that's great.
So it's very motivating. You want to improve the experience for your reader. And you start messing around with this stuff and learning how to do it. It's great.
And see, that's great. And that's another great purpose of blogging and anything like that, to learn something new.
Right.
To be able to advance in our society. Well, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Oh, thank you. Nice to
blogger.
be here.
We'll have to check your blog out. And to our future bloggers, it looks like this is a way that you can express yourself to the world and maybe find some people who share some similar interests with you and maybe learn something. Wouldn't that be great if we could just learn something? So that's it. To my viewing audience, as always, if you're walking down the street and you see something interesting and you wonder to yourself, hey, what's up with that? Well, tune into our show, What's Up With That? And maybe you'll find exactly what you're looking for. We'll see you next week in What's Up With That. Good night, everybody.